Hey, what's up? DFS Rico coming at you with my picks and insight for this LPL LCK 6-game League of Legends slate on Thursday, April 2nd. Before I get started, if you can like, subscribe, comment at the end if you got any questions. Alright, let's get started. Like same way I start all my usual videos, I like to run through the teams that I'm leaning towards winning, because that's usually how you're going to make the most money. I mean, you will have those close matches where both teams are really competitive, but for the most part, you're going to be winning more often by stacking the teams that do win the match. Most of the time. So, I mean, just to get started, up top, the most expensive team we got is Billy Gaming, which I do favor them over Rogue Warriors. And then Afrika, I'm favoring Afrika Freaks, Top Esports, Team WE, Damwon Gaming, and KT Rolster to upset Dragon X. Dragon X is the third best team right now in the LCK. KT Rolster is the fourth best team. As of right now, KT's playing to try to get their eighth win in a row. They've been on fire lately, doing parts of their AD carry. Aiming has been playing really well. Usually, the LCK doesn't get as many points as the LPL, but KT's been playing really good. Specifically aiming, like I mentioned. If you are going to be playing KT, that's the guy you want. So that's who I'm leaning towards getting an upset. But there's a lot of spots here where you can pick the underdog. All the favorited teams are barely slight underdogs, and even then they're both not fantastic teams for the most part. Honestly, the best team today is Team WE, probably the team I feel the most confident in, and then following up by Top Esports. But all the other four matches can honestly go anyway. Neither of the teams is super fantastic, other than the Dragon X and KT Rolster. The reason they're so evenly priced is just due to the fact that it's such a good game. It's going to be a really good match. I expect it to go 3 games, and it should be competitive. I don't know if it'll be high scoring, but it will be competitive. That's more like a GPP play, in my opinion. Alright, so let's just get started. Top position. Some of my favorite picks I would look to stack around if I am stacking specific teams. You got Morgan up top for WE. It's been really solid in the top lane. Personally, I'd rather just try to stack the carries on this team, like the mid laner and the AD carry. That's usually where I would go with this team. So, 7,400, not a bad play. He is probably the best top laner as far as value, as far as point and upside. I like him. Kingen and ADD. Kingen had been playing good all, for the most part. But then in the victories, but last match they actually benched him for ADD. So that's something you need to look forward to finding out when the starting lineups are announced. Just play the guy that's starting if you are stacking him. He had a good game, 75 fantasy points against WE, which they did beat. They upset them last week. So they're coming off a good win. They've honestly been playing pretty solid. I think they've only won 1 match out of their last 3. But they played FPX, which is one of the best teams, defending world champions. They got a game on them, and then they played E-Star before that, and they got a game on them as well. So they haven't been playing too bad. And then WE, they beat them, which they were underdogs in. So, maybe they're just finding their wave right now. So, BLG is looking like a really good team to stack today. And then, 369 for TES, 6 kills per game, 12 assists per game. Not looking too bad. 3 wins in a row. Been playing really solid in those wins. I feel like he has a steady floor in victories. So, if you expect him to win, he's a nice piece to have in that top lane. Naguri for DWG is probably one place I would mainly look if I am stacking DWG. He's one guy I would want to include in my stacks. He has really high upside in victories. But like I usually mention, the top laners are pretty weak in every today at least. There's not really that many good top laners in all of esports, honestly. Just they don't really do much other than tank, get assist. And I mean, unless you got guys from the best teams playing, then you kind of just want to pick your poison, honestly. None of them are stand out too much for me. Just pick the ones you think are going to win. Then, Ken, obviously, I wouldn't play So Juan for KT. He's not that good at all, honestly. He's probably the main one I would avoid out of the teams that I am looking at stacking. He's probably the main guy I wouldn't want to play at all. Now, jungler, I mean, Beishang has been the best jungler on this slate. Been playing really good. Even in the loss last week, put up 72 points, 103 before that, 92 before that, 96 before that. And usually in their victories, he's getting over 80 fantasy points, which is really good. Nice floor in victory, which I do expect him to win. So kind of just gauge him for 80 points and then 105 point upside, so not too bad. Averaging 16 assists per game, 7 kills per game, really active jungler. Plays a lot of carry junglers, so that usually leads to a lot of pressure early game on the map, which can dictate the game. Then Karsa for top esports, not looking too bad. Like I mentioned earlier, 3-game winning streaks, been playing really good. I expect him to win again. 16 assists per game, which is 16.9, which is actually the second highest out of any jungler in the LPL or LCK. And then Meteor for BLG is the guy I really like. 16 assists per game, 4.6 kills. Usually in victory, he's getting upwards, of 92, 88 fantasy points. But this is a team where you can fade him, and like I mentioned earlier, you could play Rogue Warriors and try to get in that GPP play. But as of right now, I am leaning towards BLG, so I do like him. Scrolling down, Bono. I would play Bono if I am stacking KT. He's one of the only players on this team I like, along with like mid laner and aiming, Kuro and aiming. Those are probably the main 3 guys I'd look for that team. KT's not too interesting other than their AD carry is the main reason I would play them. Then the mid laners, Teacher Mars has been on fire ever since they put him in the starting lineup. 82 fantasy points, 126, 97, 74. He's been playing fantastic ever since they put him in the starting lineup. About 4 matches ago. He's been playing really solid, high upside. Like I said, they're probably the best team on the slate as far as like upside. So if you want to stack them with one of the lower owned teams, I can see you doing that. Knight is probably the main piece I would start if I am playing top esports. He's probably the focal piece of this team. 9 kills per game, 15 assists per game. He's been playing really solid all season. He actually leads this specific team in MVPs, which is like player of the games practically. So usually when they're in victory, he's practically the main reason why. I think he's like the 3rd highest in the LPL as well. / LCK, he's the 3rd highest out of both leagues. Showmaker for DWG. It's usually a key piece to their victories as well. It's really active. Usually plays more like passive mid laners, which will lead to him getting way more assists than kills, but he is really solid. When a team is gelling, it's usually due to him playing really well. 7600, not bad. For Freak of Freaks, I do like Fly. It's probably one of the main guys I'd be looking to stack around. Keep going down. Like I mentioned earlier, Kuro at 5.8k, which is just insane. It doesn't have like super high upside, but 5.8, if I do see them winning, upsetting Dragon X, 5.8 is just too cheap. Lets you practically pay up for probably Team WE. So probably a stack I'm looking at right now is WE and KT Rolster, which has a lot of upside. I think those are the main guys at mid lane. AD carry, Ming for Team WE. He's been on fire. He has the highest upside out of any player on this slate. So if you are playing WE, it's the main piece I would include in that. Him and, like I mentioned, Teacher Ma. Those are the 2 key pieces I'd make sure I include in that stack. Vodic, he's good. He plays his role. He does play really well. Doesn't have really 100-point upsides with what I'm looking for in an AD carry, but does have a nice floor if they are winning 77, 97, 79, 77 point floor which is not too bad for an AD carry. Scrolling down, Jin Zhao, same thing for Billy Gaming. Usually in Victory, he plays a key part. 6.7 kills per game, 12.6 assists, but nothing too crazy. I mean, they're only favorited because they're playing a team that's, I think, bottom 3 in the league, so that's why they're priced a little higher. I mean, they're not priced higher because they're crazy skilled players. They just have the best matchup on the slate. Scrolling down, Nuclear is not too bad for DWG. Like usually, I mean, you want to incorporate, the AD carry and the mid laner when you are stacking certain teams. It's usually where most of your points are going to come, especially on this slate where the junglers aren't too strong. It's usually want to make sure you include the AD carry and the mid laner in your lineup. Scrolling down, like I mentioned, aiming is probably my favorite play at 6.2. 102, 109, 98 fantasy points. He is playing right now as well, having a solid game. So, I mean, if they come out in victory today, that's 7 or 8 wins in a row, I think, which is fantastic. After starting the season 0-5, they're just playing really good right now. I mean, they are playing a really good team too, though, so that could end their winning streak right there. I think those are the main guys I'm looking for. At AD carry, support, I mean, missings 6.2. Like I mentioned, Team WE is probably the best team on the slate as far as upside. So that's why they are priced the highest. I like them a lot. And then Kui 5.8, not too bad. I mean, usually at support, I mean, for the most part, they all kind of have crazy floors and crazy upsides. Just kind of just incorporate them in some of your stacks to save that money so you can pay up for like 2 AD carries or 2 mid laners, one in your captain spot, one in your main AD carrier mid role. So usually you're spending down. That's usually why you incorporate them in your lineups, to make sure you can squeeze 2 of those guys in there. So, I mean, you can just really look either way of whatever team you're stacking, just try to incorporate them sometimes. Me personally, missing Kui, Zidmo, not Yuya and Gia, Kui, Jelly, scrolling down, Barrel, has been playing really good as well in victories at least. Just had an 88-point game last week against APK. Scrolling down a little more. And the last guy is Tucson at 4K, which is just insane. I mean, like I said, I'm favoring him to win. I feel like a lot of people will probably play him in GPPs though, because they are a really good team. Just underpriced just due to the fact that they're playing another really good team. 16 assists per game, which is, I believe it's the 4th highest in the entire LPL/LCK. So it's not too bad for his price tag. As long as they're in victory, I mean, should be good. And then just going to scroll through my teams again. Like I mentioned, BLG, AF, TES, WE, DWG, and KT are the way I'm going. But like I said, there can be a lot of upsets on this slate. Anyone could get upset on this slate. I'm just like I mentioned, most confident in Team WE. If you are playing cash, that's probably the main team I would stack around. All the other 5 matches are honestly upset potential, so this might be a good day to play GPPs today, honestly. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.